We have another phone caller on the line, Elle from Marianna. Now she has two questions, so Elle, I'm going to let you ask that first question first about life insurance, and then we'll go back to your second question. So you can ask your first question right now.
Hi. Yeah, I guess this question is for John. It's about what you said about the whole life policies. When you have a whole life policy, especially if you have two, could I take the one and I've gained money on it? Can money that I have gained on it, can it pay the payments until it runs out and I not have to pay the payments?
Yeah, generally that's how life insurance goes when you have a whole life policy, is that you end up paying in each time a little bit of it goes towards principal, just like you're paying off on a mortgage or something. And eventually the principal is more than the interest when you're paying off a mortgage. This works the other way around, so that as you're paying it in, you're getting a little bit of interest each time. And at some point you built up a nice little nest egg, and that interest equals the amount that your payment would be. So yeah, you can just call them up and say, I'd like to do that instead. And they should have a provision in the contract that says you can do that. If not, like I told Courtney's grandma, you can always take that cash out and just go buy another one from someone that does provide that sort of a contract availability.
And Elle, you had another question, so we're going to go back to Elle. I know she had a second follow-up. Elle, you can go ahead with your second question now.
Okay, yeah, the other question was, as far as like with the whole life, you know, if I didn't want to take and pay the payments with it, like you said about cashing out, I could cash it out and I could pre-pay for my funeral, right? And then that I could set up my funeral and not have my children have to worry about it at all, correct?
That's right. There are a lot of plans out there that you can prepay for all sorts of things, services, grave sites, stones, everything, and run the gambit. And I'm sure they'll charge you as much as you want to pay. But the reality is you can get that done, and doing it now, they don't have to worry about it. And that's a really loving thing to do and thoughtful, and it also makes it the way you want it to be. That's something that you can also have written into your will and the trust that you might want to create with kind of it sounds like you might have some assets left over that you can manage and disperse to your children so that they don't have to worry about squabbling over it. But that is absolutely something you can do now. Again, like I told Courtney's grandma, check with your accountant or a financial planner or somebody for any kind of penalties or tax consequences on cashing things out. But otherwise, no, you can, if you got some money in the bank right now, you can go do it. I know there's plenty of good funeral homes in town that offer that service, and you can go and ask a friend, that sort of thing. Chris may even know some folks around
yeah,
here.
I mean, there's plenty of great guys in town. But John, you hit on something. You know, we talked about a legacy earlier. We talked about the trust, and we're talking about the power of a will. And what you're hitting on there with Elle was basically you're allowed to dictate where you want your assets to go. And I think some people think that, just the big items, or just maybe this bank account here, or maybe this car, but your will gives you the power to dictate your entire estate and your assets and who you want those to go to and how it's supposed to be distributed.